Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're working on finishing a few more projects that we started. So the first one that we got here is pouring the concrete for the water for our steers and make it so we can split the barn in half. So we got Duke's pounding some rebar in, so that way when we pour the concrete, once it gets hardened, it won't be floating around, it will stay where it's at. Then we have these two boards that are going to be an L shape here, so then we'll pour concrete in here. So we got this place formed up, then we got a few other spots that we're gonna form up, and then we'll have concrete to pour tomorrow. So while we have concrete truck out for that spot, we're gonna have a few other spots we're gonna pour. So we have this spot formed up here. So what this is a water filtration system we have. So the main well on the farm is right here. So this is where all the water gets pumped from deep underground up to the surface. And this right here is supposed to be a system where we were supposed to have a company that came out and they said that they could help clean our water up so there's not so much rust and stuff inside of it with some chemicals, and this is supposed to be a system to help do that, but so far it hasn't really worked out the greatest. So for now that's on hold, but we have the main person that we normally work with for water stuff has a filter, like a big filter for the water. And so to do that, the filter has to be able to wash for 5 minutes every day. So we have this pipe here. I have a video I'll probably put over. So right now, so we got a new water filtration system over there. We put that in a couple months ago to help get like cleaner water up for the cows and stuff, and that has been working all right. But we need to have a way to filter the water coming in there to make it a little easier for that. So what we're doing right now is building a PVC drainage pipe. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna come from a filter for all that fun stuff, and it has to be able to drain water every day. So we got a tie line that goes down the driveway and stuff. So we have to put this PVC pipe in here. So we gotta glue the couplers together, and then we're gonna cover this all up, and then we're gonna have to pour some concrete over there. Yeah. The background of us putting this in, but basically this goes underneath the ground, underneath this tractor, and then it ties into a main tile line that goes all the way to the bottom of the driveway. But basically this is gonna be able to have the water be flushed out when the big filter that we don't have here yet is put in. So we're gonna put concrete down in this spot, and then we're gonna put a little building over all this. So that'll be building. The building itself will be in a different video, but I just figured this is one of the other spots we're gonna be putting concrete in, so I figured I'd show that quick. So one of our other concrete projects we're gonna try to do is there's supposed to be a curb that goes through here, but the curb has started to break after being here for 30 some years when this building was originally built. And the post that was in the middle is in two pieces now. I don't think it was quite in two pieces, but it was getting close. So my dad and brother pulled out the curb, so now Duke and I are gonna work on trying to pull this out of here. It's a few days later now. We got the concrete poured a couple days ago. I had a couple buddies, and Duke and my dad and I poured the concrete. So this is one of the spots where we put a new post in and then put the new curbs in over here. And then you could probably see, I'll zoom in a little bit. Over there we have our pad over there, and we'll show you the other spots. So right now we're just working on taking the boards off here. We left the boards on here a little bit longer just because the animals are around it and stuff. So just to make sure everything stayed all right, we left them on. So we're gonna work on taking those off here, and then we'll work on a couple other spots, and then we should be good to go on a couple of these projects now for a little while. So we got all the boards taken down, so now my dad and I are working on taking some more jumbo blocks into our steer barn to help separate what's eventually going to be two separate pens in here. So got one in there already. This is what our edit on concrete looks like. It's kind of a mess here because we put a piece of plywood, old plywood we just had laying around on top of this concrete to cover it up, and steers destroyed it, as you can see here. So this is what the new piece looks like. So should be able to get the water in here pretty soon and be able to get that stuff put in too. the envisionment of what we're trying to do here is coming together. So we got 4 jumbo blocks in here, and so this would basically be one pen right here. So then the other pen would be here, and then outside because the steers are gonna get fed out there. But basically now, the main thing is really all we gotta do before we can split this really in 2 pieces is get our water, because we'll have a gate coming off the end of this that'll kind of go somewhere in here, so that way the animals on this side can get water from over here yet. So besides the water, putting the new water in, we're just gonna make hangers, and we'll have gates in between the jumbo block and the post, and then the same down there. So we'll probably end up working on that a different day, but at least we made a little bit more progress again. So the next day now, I'm gonna work on making some brackets here for us to hang the gates off of our jumbo blocks. So I'll probably show a picture of one we already have built here, but basically we're gonna cut off pieces for make it so I can weld the hangers on, gate hangers on. So next day now, I'm gonna work on continuing the project of making it so we can split our steer barn into 2 pens. So what I'm gonna work on is making gate hanger brackets for us to bolt onto our jumbo blocks that are separating the pen and then on the end of the pen. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna cut pieces out of this sheet of metal that we have here to start working on making the hangers. I'll show a picture probably of what the end result's hopefully gonna look like, but I'm not a fabricator, so the 2 ways this is probably gonna end up is ugly and uglier. So I guess we'll see what happens here and hope it goes well. I got our pieces of metal cut here now, so what I'm gonna work on next is welding up our extensions here. So this is how the other bracket that we had looks. So basically the hangers are gonna be like this, sitting here. They look like whoever built the last one just welded this on to give it a little more strength. So we'll replicate that here quick. So I'm gonna do a weld to get these 2 extensions on quick, and then we'll probably work on trying to get these hangers on here. So we'll grind everything first, so that'll probably take a little bit to get everything cleaned up, and then we'll start welding. So I welded on our gate hangers here. And like I said, I'm no professional fabricator, so it might not look the prettiest. But after that, I drilled the holes for what our studs are going to be that we're going to use to mount this into the concrete jumbo blocks. Basically, we'll drill a hole in the jumbo block and then hammer this in there, and then this will bolt right into there. So this one should be pretty much ready to go. I got the material for the second one here to make, so we'll get going on the second one, I guess, and maybe we'll put these in at some point here. So I got the second one. I got the first gate hanger welded on here solid, and this one I got tacked on. So this one's going a lot smoother, this whole setup, because I did the first one. I know what I'm doing here, so this is actually going a lot smoother here. So just gotta get that one welded tight, which shouldn't take too long, and then we'll just drill our holes. This one I made the hangers a little bit farther apart, because that one we already got a gate for, and I know how far in between the 2 hangers we are. But I think these ones are gonna need to be a little bit more farther apart, because it's gonna be a little bit bigger of a gate. So hopefully I'm all right about that. But yeah, we'll get that one welded tight, and then we'll go and start drilling again. So we got done with our welding here. So I brought our bracket up to our drill press we have here. We bought this a couple years ago from a place that buys equipment from old factories that went out of business. So we got this for a pretty good deal, but the only problem is they didn't have any of the wiring and stuff to make it run. So we bought an adapter to get this to the right phase of power. And this actually is kind of sweet, because you can hit your button to run it, and then you can adjust your speed and stuff, which is kind of cool. But anyways, so this works pretty good for what we're trying to do here with a little bit thicker metal. So it'd be really a pain to try to drill through it with a normal handheld drill. So if you're wondering why we got this big slab of metal up here, the drill bit only goes down so far. So if I just set this on the actual drill plate, we wouldn't be able to get down far enough. So I had to put this piece up here to make it so we can actually do this. But otherwise, this actually works pretty good. I got to be able to spin the handle while holding the phone, but works pretty good because you can just sit here and all you have to do is pull down a little bit and just drill away. So now that I got my brackets done over there, one of the last things we have to get figured out here is the new water we're going to be putting in. So my dad's been working on this for a little bit. It's the old water that we had in our bottom of our stanchion barn for a while, but it hasn't been used in years and stuff. So he did a couple things to get it ready to go, like putting this new foam to seal the bottom and stuff. So this should be pretty much ready to go too. So it's just a matter of being able to work on this stuff. We're kind of busy right now. So for now, we're probably just gonna end the video on refurbishing the steer barn here. We're gonna, hopefully one more video, we'll be able to get all this stuff put in and be able to actually get it going. So we'll see you in the next video here, and hopefully we'll be able to finish that in a couple days.